New this morning, Senator Joni Ernst says your taxpayer dollars are continuing to flow into entities in China for dangerous virus research. In a letter to Agricultural Secretary Tom Vilsack, she wrote, "I was troubled to learn from the nonprofit group White Coast Waste Project that the USDA is supporting experiments involving a highly pathogenic avian influenza virus that poses a risk to both animals and humans in collaboration with the Chinese Academy of Sciences, which is controlled by the CCP, and a researcher affiliated with the infamous Wuhan Institute of Virology." Senator Ernst demanding answers, especially after her home state of Iowa had to euthanize millions of birds last year because of an outbreak of avian flu. She even championed a provision in the Defense Act that was just passed in December that requires an account of all the money that has flowed to the CCP and their labs. Well, joining us this morning to discuss the latest developments and the impact of this amendment, Adam Andrzejewski, the CEO and founder of OpenTheBooks.com. Adam, good morning to you. I want to back up a little because I know you partnered with Senator Ernst last year on this pivotal report that showed just how much money is going to China and Russia for these research projects. So remind us, what did you find? How much money are we talking about?
So since 2017, $1.3 billion of U.S. taxpayer money flowed to the adversarial nations of China and Russia. And it was $500 million actually that flowed into China. And just as an example of how difficult it is to track this money underneath the current systems, we found that since 2013, $2 million of U.S. taxpayer money flowed into that lab in Wuhan, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. But then the U.S. Government Accounting Office said that only $1.4 million of U.S. taxpayer money actually made it to the lab. Other payments were eventually stopped or not paid. Now, during this period, $300,000 flowed through the Chinese CDC, U.S. taxpayer money that funded ethics training for Chinese scientists. So we knew that they were engaged in abuse of human subjects, publication fraud, and other frauds during this period that were funding Chinese scientists. Now, U.S. Senator Joni Ernst, she never stopped. She kept digging and clawing and digging and clawing. She wants to get to the bottom of every dime of U.S. taxpayer money that has flowed into China and its labs.
Yeah, and this actually led to an amendment in that Defense Authorization Act. So what does the new...
Through Ernst's leadership, the new law is a dramatic victory for transparency. It'll quantify and create a full accounting at the Pentagon of all U.S. defense dollars that have been diverted to China, its labs, and other dangerous labs working on virus research from around the world.
So the research has not stopped. What did she uncover recently, Senator Ernst?
Yeah, she's going to find out who was paid, how much they were paid, what they were working on, and the American people deserve answers. They deserve answers on this gain of function research. So, for example, you've now got her recent discovery is the U.S. Department of Agriculture continuing to pay the same people, for instance, a bat lady in Wuhan, since 2021, $1 million for this dangerous gain-of-function research where they soup up viruses in the lab to create the pathogen, and then they try to cure that pathogen in the lab, this time again on these bird viruses, this influenza. And so you have over $1 million paid since 2021 with a contract going through 2026. So although the Biden administration cut funding to the Wuhan lab, the same entities are now being funded not through the National Institutes of Health, but say, for example, in this case, the Agriculture Agency of the United States.
The Pentagon's never even passed their annual audit, which is mandated by Congress. Their books are a mess. So what do you think is going to be the result of this China audit?
Yeah, well, the American people deserve answers after the pandemic on this gain-of-function research. You know, who was paid in China, in Chinese labs, and other dangerous labs around the world when it comes to the viruses? And look, this passage of the amendment from Senator Ernst, it carries the force of law. And so the Pentagon's Inspector General, they've got 180 days to deliver the audit. It's a look-back audit of 10 years, and they need to get moving on it.
Founder and CEO of Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jan.